And good evening and welcome to Greater Somerville for September 11th, 2012. I'm Joe Lynch.
I'm Cayenne Anderson.
And I'm Renee Polcaro.
There you go. Our guest tonight is Renee Polcaro, the Vice President of East Somerville Main Streets, a volunteer nonprofit organization dedicated to the development of the East Broadway Business District. It has advocated for the sensible redevelopment and revitalization of that section of the city through a variety of civic, social, and new business initiatives. It is my pleasure, our pleasure, to welcome Renee to talk about the organization and the upcoming second annual East Broadway Foodie Crawl taking place 1 week from tonight. So welcome to Renee.
Debut appearance on Greater Somerville.
Yes.
There you go.
And
Thank you so much.
And what do we normally do? This is Joe's cheesy thing, but suddenly I'm getting into it.
Weather?
Yeah.
Want to do the weather?
The weather.
We
You
do
have
this
to
for
do the weather.
Yes.
I will do the weather.
All right?
Yeah.
Take it away.
It's beautiful out today, as you can see. It's turning into fall. It's getting into the 50s out there.
Wow.
Is this right? Is this how?
You are excellent.
You did a really good job.
You're
All right. Well,
excellent.
I wore boots today actually for the first time. I checked with my friends; it was okay.
Yeah.
So fall's officially here. That's
I'm not. Yeah.
I'm not.
It is.
No.
I don't really want to.
All right.
I think it's a beautiful fall day, but no one can top Adam Vaccaro from Somerville Scout with his delivery of the weather.
I know, but she was good. Don't get. I mean, let's just. We have a new guest.
You'll have to beat up Adam.
Okay. Can I ask you a
But thank
favor?
you, thank you, thank
Can you
you.
move over a little? I feel like I'm very. No, not you. No,
This
you're
way?
fine. No, I try.
This way?
I try. So I don't know why we're on a delay. This is really throwing me off. Have you noticed that, Joe?
It's on a delay, but that's okay. As long as we chat with each other,
Okay.
the audience at home won't notice the delay.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
We changed over some equipment here, and anybody who watches SCAT on a regular basis, the live shows have a slight delay
Oh.
for us seeing ourselves on the big monitor up there that we're not supposed to watch. Right, because
So
it
for those of us who are
confuses-
looking at our hair,
Right. There you
Make
go.
sure everything looks-
So anybody who does watch SCAT TV on a regular basis, the live shows, we are getting used to it. The
Yeah.
folks from Pundit, the folks from Poet to Poet, a lot of the shows, we're getting used to that slight delay. But what we are very used to is the second annual Foodie Crawl.
The second annual Foodie Crawl, that's right, Joe. It's going to be super exciting this year. Last year, you may have been to the crawl and you may have seen people in the streets unlike you've ever seen before.
1,200 of them?
1,200
there was a lot of people. I was among them.
Yeah.
That was
1,200
it was
people.
pretty impressive.
And there were a lot of lines. So this year, we're actually selling less tickets. We're selling half the tickets.
So you guys did Groupon last year because
Right.
I had a couple friends that were so excited, and I had already bought my tickets.
Right.
Loyalty.
Loyalty.
And they it was amazing how many people bought tickets.
Right.
1,200.
1,200 people last year.
So we're going to talk a little bit more about the Foodie Crawl, but let's talk about the organization.
Okay, great.
Because East Somerville Main Streets has gained a reputation, not only through the leaders that it's had, Carrie Dancy, and the board of directors, but through the organization itself and the way that it reaches out to the business community and to the residents of East Somerville in the Lower Broadway district. It's an amazing organization. How old now? 4 years? 3 years?
I've been involved for 4 years, but I
4
believe
years.
the organization is 5 years old now.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
we're a lot younger than Union Square Main Streets
Yep.
by a couple of years, I believe. But we're going strong,
Right.
and we are. Yes, you said it well. We are we're a community organization that works on building upon the community via the business district and through the people.
Right.
So the residents will meet up at the restaurants and they'll meet their neighbors. They'll meet up with their neighbors on Tuesday nights usually. That's sort of what we've themed as our night, Tuesday night in East Broadway. That's why you will notice that the Foodie Crawl is always on a Tuesday.
There you go.
Yeah. So and we've been working hard to rebrand our organization, rebrand our neighborhood. Through the organization.
Right.
And we're calling ourselves East Broadway Business District because that's what we are. We're not a square. We're not shaped like a square.
Right.
We're a street. We're a long street with
Renee,
lots of restaurants
none
on
of
it.
the squares are shaped like squares. We're still confused here in Somerville. So
I really like the new brand. I will say this: I'm a sucker for a good T-shirt, and your East Somerville Main Streets. It's what is it? It's okay to be square. What outside?
Eat
the
outside the
Outside the
square.
square.
Eat outside the
Yes.
square. And it's not a knock on Davis Square because Davis Square
Why
is
not?
just thriving.
Let's knock Davis.
No, let's not.
I always get
It's thriving.
the, you know,
They do.
everybody cheers for Davis, the Paris
Yeah.
of Somerville. Forget about it. It's East
Wait a
Somerville.
minute. Where did that come from? The Paris of Somerville?
What?
Did you just
Oh,
make that up?
no, it's all
Is that
the-
a Joe Lynchism?
No, people in Davis Square call it the Paris of Somerville.
I think there's a lot. There's a lot going
Yeah.
on in East Somerville. There's a lot. No,
Each neighborhood has its own brand.
Exactly, and
Yes.
I think with the developments that are going on adjacent to East Somerville, I think that's definitely the area
We
to
have some
watch.
restaurants coming in. We are.
You have that brand new one coming in.
Labrassa's coming in.
When is that
Process.
coming in?
It is within the next few months. I'm not really clear on the full details.
And that is, what's the buzz on that?
Is it Frank McClellan?
The
No, it's
owner
Overman.
of L'Espalier.
Les
Can't say
Pallier,
it.
Robert,
Something like that.
I forget his
I've
name.
never-
My friend works at Les Pallier.
Ooh.
Maybe she worked there.
Can you get
Suzanne
any
Walker.
freebies? Can you get us any freebies?
She's a pastry chef. I'll see.
Oh, yeah.
Suzanne, we've called her out. Anyway,
Freebies.
so
But go
okay.
ahead. So-
We are really billing ourselves as what we are, which is a restaurant row. No one realizes that you can come down our little corridor and get Italian, American, Caribbean. You can get Mexican, El Salvadorian, Ethiopian, which is my personal
I love the
fave.
Fasica.
I love
Fasica's-
Fasica.
that's great.
Yeah, so you can like travel many continents in 1/3 of a mile
Right.
stretch.
Right.
We're a little
Let's
restaurant
start,
row.
You know what? Let's start down at the Boston border because I think a lot of people, when they think about Broadway's, I hate to do this, old Somerville, new Somerville, but you know, those of us who have been here for a long time and grew up,
Older
we,
people.
we know the Mount Vernon. She's going to get knocked right off set tonight. We know the Mount Vernon begins Restaurant Row,
Right.
basically, and as you move up, you know, longtime residents know about Vinnie's.
Yep.
They know about Patsy's Pastry.
Yep.
They know about Louis.
Yep.
Louis Ice Cream. They know all these places, but I don't think a lot of people realize how much infill in the restaurant scene has come on the scene in Lower Broadway.
Yeah. Well, my go-to coming off the tee is always Taco Loco because
Oh,
they're open late,
very popular.
and I'm coming home from a night out with my friends, and I'm like, oh, Taco Loco's open. Let me stop in and get some tacos. So that's one. That's right after Mount Vernon.
Okay.
Keep going, you'll see, Vinnie's. But across the street, there's this wonderful place called Blessing Caribbean, and they had
I've
this
seen
rice.
the signage. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a rice and beans dish last year that got written up on a blog, and everyone loved it. So they're there. You don't know
Wow.
about them. And Blanca's Bakery is right nearby them.
What's the name? When I went to the foodie crawl last year, it was very crowded, but it was great to see the vibrancy in the streets. There was this coffee shop that was so
Ola.
adorable,
Ola.
and the woman. I mean, we walked in there, and it was so quaint, and I thought, I want to come back here.
Yep. Ola Cafe. They're pretty new. They're right next to East Somerville Main Street's office, actually.
Yeah.
Where are you located again? We're going to do this a couple of times during the show.
We're on 114 Broadway. the
114
office.
Broadway,
Yeah.
and the website for East Somerville Main Street.
EastSomervilleMainStreets.org.
Okay.
And that's going to be on our blog
And the
as
tickets
well.
for the foodie crawl are still available
Yes.
through the website.
Through the website.
I got my inside from one of your board members.
Okay.
Who said to me, reserve your tickets now
Yeah.
because we're limiting them this year.
Yes, we
Yeah.
are.
So
We
there will
are.
not be a Groupon. So I think that's important for people to
And
know. about.
Cayenne will be hosting Greater Somerville that night of the foodie
Wait a
crawl
minute,
because
I-
I've got my tickets already.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that next week?
It's
That
1
is
week
next
from
Tuesday.
today. There might not be anyone here.
So look
No.
forward to an exciting show
No.
with Cayenne and Alderman Rebecca Gaworth
That's
talking
true.
about food trucks.
And Christine Liu is coming in. We're talking about the food truck ordinance. It's going to
I
be a
know
good show.
Christine Liu.
Yes, she is going to be
There you
out.
go.
I will go to CrossFit with her.
You know what?
So good
We
luck
are-
with that. We'll bring you something back from the foodie
Yeah.
crawl.
There you go.
Yeah, nice. Okay, whatever.
We got
Okay.
this.
That being said, I think the foodie crawl last year was very successful. It was a great night for it. It was just very, very crowded. So I think
Yeah,
for people
it
at
was
home
great.
that think that they're going to be able to get their tickets via Groupon, they should just be made aware that that's not the
Right.
case, and they need to purchase them ahead
Online.
of time.
How can
Online
they
ahead
can
of time.
purchase online?
They can purchase them online, but if for some reason they decide on Tuesday, September 18th, that they feel like going to the foodie crawl, they have nothing to do at 6 p.m., they can actually come to one of the check-in stations at 6 p.m. They will be at the Senior Center and the new Mud Flats ceramic studio. You could go to either location.
That's beside the substation.
It is
the-
beside the substation.
The
It's
police substation.
the old
Yep.
movie theater.
What, Is there a way that we know the count, like how many people are actually have sold the tickets already? Because a lot of people go thinking they're going to get in. I mean,
I think we've sold about 2/3 of the tickets that we plan to
Okay,
sell.
that's good.
So there are
Good
plenty
indicator.
day of tickets. There should be plenty day of tickets, and we would put it on our website if there weren't.
So explain what happens. You got your
Yeah.
ticket, and then you start.
This is good. I wanted to do
Do you
this.
have a map?
I don't have one with me right
No,
now, but
do
you
the-
will get one.
You'll get one.
Yeah. So you go, you check in, you get your map, and then you can just begin to proceed to any of the restaurants that you'd like in any order. So you may find yourself moving on from Mudflats, go across the street, love Vinny's, go to Vinny's, get some pasta. And then, you're not full yet, so you go across the street and you maybe get some pupusas from Maya Sol. And then you continue on, maybe to Monte Cristo and get some plantains over there and maybe whatever else.
My mouth's watering.
Right, already?
I can't
You're hungry?
stand it.
You're hungry? Yeah.
I'm
because
hungry.
Then you go over to Fasika and get some lamb cubes in an Ethiopian sauce. My favorite dish, Mr. D agreed to do, so be sure to check out Fasika.
so wait a minute. Did you get to pick the dishes?
I
have
got-
some say
I got
in
to
them?
have a little bit of say in helping. It's up to the restaurants what they want to serve,
Right, right.
but I really wanted, especially Ethiopian food.
Oh.
Not a lot of people have tried Ethiopian food. They're a little intimidated by it, maybe. So they can go in and try their best-selling dish they're doing that night.
That's great.
It's
Yeah.
a little more expensive,
So
but they're
this
doing
is
it.
this
Yeah.
is really a way for those restaurants to showcase
Exactly.
what they are famous for in their community.
And it's a way for the residents to try our
Yeah.
entire neighborhood in one night.
Well, I think one of, and I'm just going to be the devil's advocate here. I think
Okay.
one of the, no, but I think one of the criticisms sometimes, like with Restaurant Week, you hear about Restaurant Week in
Right,
Boston, and one of the
right.
criticisms you always hear is that these restaurants just do the Restaurant Week because they just want people through the door, and they kind of put the worst thing on the menu and the cheapest
Right.
thing just to get the masses in there. And I think it's great to hear you say that they have thought about it, because I do think, especially with restaurants that aren't as well known, it's really critical for them. And Fasika is wonderful. They were at TEDx Somerville.
Yep.
We had them. They
Yep.
sold out. I mean, they were like the longest line. And
Yeah.
one of the reasons why we showcased East Somerville Main Streets, all the restaurants you have, is because there's such a diversity there.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the organization. We're going to talk about the foodie crawl a little bit more.
Okay.
We're going to keep giving the website. We're going
Yep.
to keep the cost of the tickets are
$20.
$20.
$20.
For a full night of food up and down Broadway.
Get your tickets online though, because the day of they're $25 if you go to Mud Flats and get them there.
Great.
Or
So tell me, when you started this last year, I mean, just prior to that, there was a lot of community building that East Somerville Main Streets was trying to do under Carrie's direction, with people like Ellen Reisner, who's been a longtime resident advocate. She's on your board, a bunch of other people. How did the restaurants and the businesses, let's not just think that this is restaurants only that we're trying to promote, how did the businesses react to this organization coming in and saying, we're here to try to build, this organization? How did they react to it?
well, I guess some people who had been there for a while, it took a lot of coaxing that we would be here to stay, and if you help us by hosting this event that we would like to bring people into your restaurant, you're going to win out because people are going to hear about you. And maybe they didn't believe us, but after a few times when people had come in and there were repeat customers, they're definitely more on board now than they were a few years ago.
Right.
See, I'm curious about how what the result of the first foodie crawl, what that entailed. I mean, because there were so many people there, and did they notice an uptick? I mean, did they have a little bit more business directly following the crawl, or?
Right. Not everyone who's gone back has told them that we are back because of the foodie crawl. Like my aunt came by once and she's like, "Oh, I want those pupusas. We got to go to Maya Sol. Let's go to Maya Sol right now." And I'm like, "Okay, go to Maya Sol, but make sure you tell them that you're there because
We
the
were
foodie
part
crawl."
of East Somerville Main Street's foodie crawl,
It might be
right?
kind of interesting, not that I'm trying to help you guys with the marketing. However, what happens if, with that, you do the foodie crawl, and then if people go back in and mention the foodie crawl, they get like
Another bonus.
a little 5%, or I don't know, just
Yeah.
something, because that
Not
way
a bad idea.
that would give you like a little tally, like for the first 2 weeks after the event. If you were to say, I'm coming back in after the foodie crawl.
Yeah, and that's a fairly
bad idea at all.
that's a fairly simple thing for the restaurateurs to put in place with their staff.
Right.
Is to say, when you wait on a table, how did you hear about us?
Right.
Very simple. very,
it's friendly.
very easy. It's very friendly.
Yeah.
Right. You're making them feel welcome, like, oh, I'm so glad you came to the restaurant. How'd you hear about us?
Yeah.
I was here at the first 2 foodie crawls.
Think about it. Don't even
Bam,
implement
there you
it.
go.
Maybe next year.
But the organization is not just there for a restaurant foodie crawl
Right.
night. It's there to build a consensus amongst the East Somerville stakeholders.
Right.
Residents, renters, property owners, business owners, for everybody to say, you know, this is our part of town. Not that they're driving stakes into the ground, but, you know, East Somerville, for better or for worse, in this city, has had a little bit of a tarnished reputation. And I think some of that, you know, I'm not a social psychologist, but I think some of that, so much of that has to do with the fact that that part of Somerville is cut off by the highway.
I hate that.
It's cut off by
Both ways, yeah.
93 on one side, McGrath Highway on the other, and then you have this barren wasteland called, I hate to say it, but Interbelt.
Yeah.
That separates it from Boston and Cambridge.
That's hopefully gonna change, though. There's a lot of development
circled
going
in.
on.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
But that, good segue, you got a massive rezoning
Right.
that's going on down there. What's the flavor? I mean, I know it's early in the stages, but what's the flavor amongst the residences and businesses?
Do they want it?
Do they want it? Are they fearing gentrification? or-
So mixed.
Yeah.
So mixed.
Really?
People have been here for a while. Think it's weird. Why is it happening? People like me who bought here 4 years ago and have jumped into volunteering with the community think it can only be great. So it's definitely mixed. It's a mixed bag. But like you said, yeah, our organization has been here for the people and the businesses. So when we're letting the people around us, you know, especially within, you know, a 2 to 3 mile radius, possible repeat return customers or return, hey, I want to stop when I drive through this corridor. We, you know, seeing people in the streets, music, there'll be live music that night, just seeing the streets come alive, I think it's going to really show you that, yeah, you know, when they widen the sidewalks, it'll be a place to stop and maybe hang out and talk to your neighbors.
That's
And
all
it's-
part of the
yeah.
rezoning.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah. And
It's
exactly.
much more approachable. I mean, I think these types of events just make it seem like when you can envision it with this many people as they're walking around, like
Yeah.
you'd see in a Davis Square, it really just makes it feel more approachable. Because I mean, I hate to say this, but there are times when I'm driving through East Somerville, and you know, on maybe colder winter nights, but where is it happen anywhere? You know, it is quite desolate over there, and sometimes, and so it's really great to see
Part of
people on the
part of the
streets.
rezoning, we should let the folks at home know, part of the rezoning calls for revamping that whole lower Broadway area so that the streetscape...
we don't call it Lower Broadway anymore,
Yeah,
though.
see, you can't do that.
Well, you know, you're going to have a hard
I
time getting
know.
the people up in Powder House and West Somerville to say they don't live on Upper Broadway. So
East Broadway Business
East
District.
Broadway Business District.
Restaurant Row.
So,
that's what we are.
you know, it's gotten its bad rap, but it's
Yep.
it's changing just like all other parts of the city.
Yeah.
So this streetscape improvement is to bring more people in.
Right.
You know, East Somerville had a little scary reputation. It's changed rapidly
It has.
over the past 4 to 5 years.
And I've been-
So I think the message that we're trying to deliver to folks is, you know, East Somerville is no longer your mom and dad's East Somerville. So go to this foodie crawl. You're going to be amazed at the amount of people on the sidewalks and in the neighborhoods.
They'll
of
also
East-
be full.
Right. Where can you go for $20 and
20
taste
bucks.
the world's food?
We have 12 locations participating, so they have each two samples per restaurant, one vegetarian, one non-vegetarian. So don't feel alienated. If you are a vegetarian, you will get to taste 12 dishes. So
we let me do one thing. We're a not-for-profit organization here. You guys are a not-for-profit organization, so it's okay for you to name those restaurants.
We are
I can.
Yeah.
Sing out.
Okay. We have the Mount Vernon, Taco Loco,
Yum.
Los Paisanos, Vinny's Restaurant, Tapatio Mexican Grill, Gaucho Brazilian, Ola Cafe, Taqueria Monte Cristo, Maya Sol, Casey's Tavern, Fasika Ethiopian Restaurant, and Blessing Caribbean.
There you go. There you go.
great-
You know, I think I've been to 5 or 6. I've been to
Awesome.
6 of those
I've been to
restaurants.
all because I went to the foodie crawl last year.
Well, you're not going this year.
Whatever. So now, okay,
We're going.
let's talk about, what's with the fist pumping? You gotta stop that. That is so just last year, or a couple years ago.
What are we supposed to do this year?
I don't know, but I'll figure it out.
Fist bump yourself.
No, okay. We haven't been on a show. You didn't even wish me a welcome back.
Welcome back, Cayenne.
I was gone for the summer, and Joe, this is our first show together. That's why we're kind of a little punchy. What about the dessert? Let's talk about that, like
Yes.
actual time of this, because we've got about 8 more minutes. So we got time.
we got time.
We got some events I want to talk about.
Improved this year.
Okay.
One more time, East Somerville Main Street's website.
EastSomervillMainStreets.org, and you can get your tickets there online in advance, $20 a ticket. If you want them the day of, $25 a ticket.
There you go.
But so the foodie crawl goes from what time to what time, and then you've got the dessert.
Dessert after parties.
I will say, you've improved it, because last year, I love the organization. I love the concept. I went. There was a really long line at the
For the
dessert. And
dessert.
I mean, these desserts
That
were
is all
so
changing.
good. And
I thought you didn't eat desserts.
I make
special
exceptions. I make
There
exceptions
you
for
go.
things like this. And it was just this long line, and but wonderful
on
desserts you
forever.
got in there. But I think, obviously, the little kinks that get worked out.
Well, we are working them out. Not only are we selling half the tickets, like I said, so there won't be as many lines at the restaurants. The dessert reception has turned into 3 dessert after parties. So you can go,
Okay.
you can schmooze, you can have a drink, you can enjoy the desserts, which are still part of the crawl. From 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. are the 3 dessert after parties. They will take place at whichever you choose to go to, Fasica, Casey's, and Vinny's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's nice. So you have it kind
You
of
pick-
split up.
Yeah, and
That's
if there's
nice.
too many people in Vinny's, try Fasica. If there's too many people at Fasica, try Casey's.
Can we talk just 1 second about public safety?
Sure.
In the area the night of the event?
Yes.
People crossing Broadway.
Yep, same as last year. We will have police
Lot
details.
of
They're
police.
wonderful.
Right.
So wonderful.
Right.
Yep, directing traffic. Directing human traffic.
And the music
across the
that's
street.
going to be playing is just going to be a random.
We have, I don't know the names of the bands. I
That's
apologize
okay.
to the bands. I don't know them, but we are booking live music, especially for the after parties, but also I think at some of the check-in locations possibly. So we will.
Yeah, there
see
were some
what-
random bands that played
Yeah.
in the streets last year. I thought that was really
Some
nice.
really
of them.
nice live music, yeah.
I want
exactly.
to mention one thing on the site, on your website. You have a great quote. Great places create great lives.
Yes.
I think that's a cool
Yeah,
quote.
nice.
It is.
It is cool.
Yeah.
But
Did you
know,
print the whole website here? You've got like.
I did. I had to print it off.
Joe did
Their-
his homework
their
tonight, but
website is
somebody
great.
did. At least somebody did.
Their website is great. I mean, it gives you great information about them. I'm going to be very selfish, and I want to give a shout out to a couple of people, and I know more people, but in addition to Carrie and yourself and, the folks who make it work, is Mark Kennedy and Alan Reisner and Ray Zongetti, let me see, Tringo, Thalia
Thalia
Tringo, and Evelyn Yamaguchi at
Yep.
Paul Wambaker. So, well, all these people do great work in the community that they live in, so
Yes.
kudos to them.
Yeah, they're my team.
What's in store for East Somerville Main Streets?
After
coming
Foodie
ahead?
Crawl.
After
Post
Foodie
Foodie
Crawl.
Crawl.
Post Foodie Crawl, I mean, just bigger and better. We have a couple new restaurants, a few new restaurants that'll be opening up. We'll have a Chinese food restaurant in the old KFC Taco Bell area.
Oh,
We'll
I'm
have
so glad that
La
that's
Brasa.
fun. I hate to
And
say that, but that'll be
there's-
great.
Yeah, no, it will be.
I mean, yeah, it will be good.
That will just be another type of cuisine that we don't already have. And then we have La Brasa coming in, and then in the old Corey State Pub, we have I think it's like an Orleans style thing coming in. You'll have
Wait
to
a
ask
minute.
Railing.
I haven't been over there in a while. How long has Corey's been gone?
Corey's has been gone
Since
for
they shut
years.
it down.
For years.
I went to the
Wait a
Foodie
minute.
Crawl
No,
last year.
I did go to the
She
foodie
was
crawl.
right by it
But
though.
I only had eyes for the restaurants that were serving food.
It's
Well,
true.
anyhow,
You gotta
okay.
get your eye on the prize though. 6 to 8 p.m. You get 12 restaurants. to
I
hit.
know
There
it's
you
a
go.
lot.
It's a lot.
There you go. It is a lot to cover in
24 dishes to eat, and then dessert after. You gotta save a little room.
And can you get little T-shirts? I love those T-shirts. I'm sorry, I meant to get one last year.
Our volunteer shirts are going to be really cool this year.
Are they okay? But what if you're not a volunteer? Or can you volunteer? What if people want to volunteer?
If people want to volunteer, you get a free ticket. So contact, if you know what,
Yeah.
if you want to volunteer, go to the contact us section at www.eastsomervillemainstreets.org, and you can
Volunteer and get a free
contact
t-shirt.
us and talk about, ask that you want to volunteer in the email, and you will get not only a free T-shirt, a free ticket to the crawl.
And if people don't want to, if people can't volunteer, but they want to buy a T-shirt, say because they come late because
Yeah.
they're forced to do a TV
You
show
can buy a
when everyone
t-shirt.
else enjoys
We'll
themselves.
let you buy a T-shirt.
Okay, I can buy it too. But
Yeah.
where would that be? I guess where's
We're-
the head, like at the start of it?
We're a little bit of a small mom and pop operation kind of in some
Okay.
ways. So you can't buy the t-shirts online that I know of right now. You can buy our standard t-shirts online, but the new volunteer t-shirts, just talk to me and Carrie and we'll hook you
So
up.
this was, what Cayenne's referring to is this branding thing that you guys went through for the East Broadway Business District. I'm not supposed to call it Lower Broadway.
Nope.
East Broadway Business District, think outside the square.
Yes.
Which is, I think is a great branding.
clever.
Where did it come from?
Well, it came from us sitting in a room with the board and realizing, okay, we're not a square. We're different. So
Right.
how are we gonna brand ourselves in this way? And we all really liked think outside the square.
I like it too.
Yeah.
I like it too. We have a few more minutes, but
We got a few more minutes, but we have some things we want to talk about. Do you want to talk about some of the things like the vigil that you went to and things like that? Maybe mention.
the vigil, as always, Somerville does not forget. And I went to the 9/11 vigil tonight with the mayor and elected officials and a whole host of Somerville officials. So the only thing I have to say about it is before you put your head on the pillow tonight, just think about those families that were left behind. So, but it was a terrific showing. Your alderman, always there, Bill
Yep,
Roach.
yep.
Bill Roach.
He's great.
And, we have to be careful about excluding 10 Hills because they're going to start getting slighted down there. They think because they live on a hill and they have a river that they're a little higher than the rest of us. But I joke because the mayor, two aldermen, the school superintendent, a bunch of people are moving in at 10 Hills. And
Beautiful.
so
Couple of the things going on. I just want to. We got a couple of minutes.
Sure.
Do you mind?
Nope,
Okay,
all
great.
yours.
So on 9/12 tomorrow, there's a home energy workshop with the Somerville Climate Action, and that's at 7 o'clock at the Somerville Public Library. I think it's a very worthwhile cause. The 15th is Saturday, of course, 9 o'clock, Union Square Farmers Market. Always a crowd pleaser. I'm enjoying it myself every weekend. 9:15, same day, perennial and house plant sale, and that's going to be at the Massage Therapy Works of Davis Square Building. The Garden Girls of the Somerville Garden Club
Garden
are having
Club.
their annual house plant sale, and I heard it gets very, very intense. So get there early. I believe it's
there's
at 9
a lot
o'clock.
of sharp elbows down
No, there are actually. There are.
They go
People
after those
crazy.
hostas
So
like
get your
it's
plants-
nobody's business.
All right, whatever. On the 16th, this is the most important one. On Sunday, September 16th, is the Somerville Dog Festival, and that's at the Trum Field from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I will say there is a fashion show, a dog fashion show, of which my dog, Oreo,
Aw.
will be in, because he was asked to be in, and that's at 11 o'clock. So if you want to see a very cute dog walk on the catwalk,
Excellent. If you're coming into Trump Field and you're bringing your dog, bring your bag with you. One more time, Foodie Crawl, next Tuesday, September 18th, September 18th.
Buy your tickets.
Buy your tickets online at www.eastsomervillemainstreets.org. Thank you for tuning in. See you next week. Cayenne Anderson,
Renee Polcaro.
Joe Lynch. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.